Hello everyone, this is PVFOA Weekly Review number 3. So the first item to cover is another clarification on the chains. Now, it was the board and the training committee's understanding that the schools would all know the VHSL guideline that was instructed to them to have the chains on the home side. However, reports from referees during their games, we have discovered that the schools are really doing whatever they want. Even schools that are in the same district, one school will have the chains on the home side and another school will have the chains on the away side. So really just during the pregame conversation, when you speak with the coaches, determine which side the chains are going to be on. If there is a dispute between the home team and the away team, the home team will pick which side to put the chains on. That way, at least we know before the game starts which side we need to put our officials on, and we can move on with it. Sideline management. Since the last video, I've heard some good things, so good job so far. Keep up the good work. I know personally I've had 2 games since the video came out last week, and I've had fouls for sideline interference and sideline warnings in both games. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing, but it does show that officials are listening to what we're trying to do here, and that's essentially clean up the sidelines for everyone's safety. Now, one point to remember is that sideline interference is enforced from the succeeding spot, and if there is another sideline interference incurred on a team, then the second sideline interference disqualifies the head coach from the contest. Evaluator comments from last week. Good job on the wings, spotting the ball, squaring the spots, and giving the dead ball signal. Especially with the dead ball signal, there has been more consistency than last year when, of course, the mechanics with the 40-25 play clock were new, so good job there. Umpires, excellent job moving the ball to get it spotted and getting into that pile after the play. Of course, remember, all officials, we can help clean up the piles, and we always want to create a presence, especially as games may get out of hand and one team may get upset at the other. One final thing from the evaluators was to, especially for the deep wings, work on the scrimmage kick positioning. So for those who may not know exactly what I mean when I'm talking about squaring off spots, here's a rough picture to try to help explain it. So the ball is the brown oval at the top of the screen there, and we're going left to right on the football field. The runner will run slightly to the right and gain 9 yards on the play. Now the official, which is the black circle at the bottom of the screen, and then behind him is the down indicator, so that's the line of scrimmage. We want the official to move parallel to the sideline as indicated by the black arrows, and then immediately turning 90 degrees to the left or squaring off where you are going to spot the ball. So in this case, the official moves 9 yards parallel down the sideline at the new line of scrimmage. He's going to square off his spot and walk up, of course, holding their hand up to signal the start of the play clock. And it just looks really good from afar, from near, and it looks very professional when we do it like that. We don't want, as indicated on the 2 red arrows here, we don't want to come in onto the field at an angle to spot the ball, and we don't even really want to start moving parallel to the sideline and then rounding our corner as we spot the ball. It just doesn't look nearly as clean as working parallel and perpendicular to the field. Scrimmage kick positioning for the deep wings, just a reminder. The side judge, we need the side judge to be 5 yards behind and at least 4 to 5 yards wide of the deepest receiver. They have the catch and they have everything associated with the receiver on their own 2/3 of the field. Now, things associated with the catch or things associated with the receiver are things such as fair catch, valid or invalid signals, kick catch interference, handoffs immediately after the kick is caught, and kicks out of bounds on the sideline, amongst other things. Make sure to have a beanbag in the hand, and really you should have two on your person, one to mark the end of the kick, and then another if you have any first touching. Once the kick ends, of course, the side judge and the field judge will then reverse mechanics like the rest of the officials on the field, and the side judge and the field judge will have the line of scrimmage, or where the ball ends, all the way up until the 2-yard line, and then the headline judge and line judge will have the ball from the 2-yard line to the goal line. It's very important that we remember that. The field judge will be also 5 yards behind the deepest receiver on the sideline, not on the field, but even with the side judge. So make sure you're on the same yard line. The field judge will have all the blocking around the receiver. Now, if the ball is going to come down on the third of the field that is between the closest hash to the field judge's sideline, then the field judge is actually going to take the ball, and then the side judge will then cover the blocking, so it's in reverse. And then once the kick ends, again, practice reverse mechanics. Here's a picture to hopefully explain the coverage a little bit better here. So in this example, we're saying that where the red circle with the R, that's the receiver, and the ball is going to come down where he is standing. So the 2/3 of the field that the side judge has is the middle of the field, as well as the third of the field that's on the side of the side judge. The field judge, on the other hand, has the 1/3 of the field that's closest to him, which is defined by the closest hash to the field judge's sideline. So in this instance, since the receiver is in the 2/3 area of the side judge will take the ball, the receiver, everything associated with that. The field judge will take all the blocking around the receiver. Now, the one big thing I wanted to cover tonight is blocking below the waist and blocking in the back. I think as officials learn the rules, we may not be as polished on this or even other things as we'd like to be, except if you're an umpire or a referee. So I just want to go over this and make sure that everyone understands the limitations and the rules behind blocking below the waist and blocking in the back. So Rule 932 states that players shall not block an opponent below the waist except for when they're in the free blocking zone and the contact meets the requirements of 2-17, or to tackle a runner or player pretending to be a runner. Now, if you go to 217, it defines the free blocking zone and all of the restrictions. So the free blocking zone is a rectangular area 4 yards on each side of the ball and 3 yards behind each line of scrimmage. Remember, we actually have 2 lines of scrimmage delineated by each point of the ball for the offense and defense. The player is in the free blocking zone when any part of their body is in the free blocking zone at the snap. Now, blocking below the waist is permitted in the free blocking zone when all players involved in the blocking are on the line of scrimmage in the zone at the snap and the contact is in the free blocking zone. Blocking in the back is permitted in the free blocking zone by offensive linemen on the line of scrimmage and in the free blocking zone at the snap, and against defensive players in the zone at the snap, and also, of course, the contact is in the free blocking zone. Now, that's a mouthful, so I again did a rough picture to try to explain this a little bit better and illustrate it. So our yellow lines here delineate the 3 yards on each line of scrimmage from the ball, as well as the 4 yards on the left and right sides of the ball. So we have a 6 by 8 yard box, and where all of those lines intersect is actually the free blocking zone, which here is indicated in the blue square. Now, if you remember from earlier, any player that has any part of their body in the zone at the snap is considered to be in the free blocking zone. So in this case, we have on the defense side, we have the 4 defenders on the line and the 2 defensive backs, even though the far defensive back there is partially in. If he's partially in, he's in. On the offense side, we have the left tackle, the left guard, center, right tackle, and for purposes of this example, the tight end is also on the right there in the free blocking zone. And then additionally, we have 3 backs that are partially in the free blocking zone. So all of those players are in the free blocking zone, but there's some additional restrictions to who can block and do what. So if we start on the right here, where the 2 arrows are, linemen, offensive and defensive linemen in the free blocking zone at the snap can also block below the waist other players in the zone and also on the line at the snap. So offensive linemen in the zone blocking defensive linemen in the zone and vice versa. Now remember, of course, that the contact must be in the zone. As far as blocking in the back is concerned, offensive linemen and only offensive linemen can block in the back defenders that are also in the free blocking zone at the snap, and the contact must again be in the zone. So for blocking below the waist, the blocker and player being blocked both must be on the line and in the zone at the snap. For blocking in the back, the offensive player has to be on the line, but they can block any defender that is in the zone at the snap as long as the contact in both cases is also in the free blocking zone. Now remember that as soon as the ball leaves the free blocking zone, the zone disintegrates or it goes away, and restrictions on blocking below the waist and blocking in the back are now in effect for all players. Now you want to remember that we still cannot have any clipping, and clipping is defined as a player pushing or creating contact on another player in the back at or below the waist. That is clipping. You also cannot chop block in any circumstance. And a chop block is 2 players creating a combination block on one player, where the first blocker may go high on a player and the second blocker, while the first block is engaged high, the second block will go low. So you have a high-low combination block. That is a chop block. It is not a chop block when both blockers both go high on a player or when both blockers go low on a defender. It is not considered a chop block then. Now, if you think about this example, really, even though we have backs that are in the free blocking zone, since they're not on the line, they cannot block below the waist, and also they cannot block in the back. And then finally, there's a special case in the case book that says, well, what about if there's a shotgun formation and the ball is snapped? So the case in the case book explains that if you have a formation where the quarterback is in the shotgun and receives a snap, the blocking zone disintegrates or goes away pretty much immediately. As far as blocking below the waist is concerned, any blocking that happens right as the ball is snapped is okay, but if there's any delay in the blocking as soon as the ball is snapped, if a lineman hesitates and then goes low below the waist, that is considered illegal because the ball left the zone at the snap, the blocking zone went away, and so that blocking below the waist is illegal. So that's it for this week. Hopefully you learned something. Now, we will not have a video review next week because I will hopefully see all of you at the full association meeting Monday on March 22nd at 7 p.m.